Hello everyone and welcome to our channel Physiosaurus. In today's video, I'm gonna be talking about the hip complex. So in the previous video, we have talked about the shoulder complex. So this video will be all about the hip complex. Now let's start the hip complex by a simple introduction. Okay. So in introduction, we are going to learn about the structures which comes under the hip complex. So there are a few structures which comes under the hip complex, and these are bones, joints, muscles, ligaments, capsule, labrum, and the seven is bursa. Now let's talk about these structures one by one. So the first is bones. Okay, so there are two bones which comes under the hip complex, and these two bones are hip bone, or you could say pelvis bone, and the other one is femur bone. Now coming to the joint part, so there is only one single joint which is acetabulo-femoral joint. Okay, or you could say hip joint. Okay, now let's talk about the muscles. So basically there are 22 muscles. Okay, there are a list of muscles which comes under the hip complex. Let's talk about these 22 muscles one by one. Okay, so I'm writing the names here: iliacus, psoas major, gluteus. Now gluteus has three muscles now, so that would be gluteus medius and gluteus maximus and gluteus intermedius. Gluteus minimus. Okay, now let's talk about the other muscles, which are tensor fascia lata, piriformis, gemellus superior along with gemellus inferior. Okay, and then there are obturator muscles. Now obturator has, again there are two obturator muscles, one is externus and one is internus. Okay, now let's talk about the other muscles, which are quadratus femoris, okay, sartorius, rectus femoris, gracilis, pectineus, adductor longus, adductor brevis, adductor magnus, and then there are biceps femoris, semimembranosus, and semitendinosus. Okay, so here the list of 22 muscles are completed. Now let's talk about the ligaments which are present in the hip complex. So there are overall 5 ligaments which are present in the hip complex, and those 5 ligaments are, so the first is iliofemoral ligament, second is ischiofemoral ligament, third one is pubofemoral ligament, fourth is ligamentum teres. Fifth is, and the last is, transverse acetabular ligament. Okay, now let's talk about the bursa. Okay, bursa. So there are four major bursa in the hip complex, and those are trochanteric bursa, iliopsoas bursa, gluteus medius bursa, ischio gluteal bursa. Okay, so these are the four bursa which are present in the hip complex. The next is capsule. Okay, so there is only one capsule present in the hip complex, and that is known as the articular capsule of the hip joint. Okay, the next and the last one is labrum. Labrum is also one, and that is acetabular labrum. Now let's talk about the function of the hip complex. So the first topic was introduction, and now we are talking about the function. So there is only mainly two functions of a hip complex. First is mobility, okay, and the second is stability. So for an example, running, walking, squatting, these are all the examples of mobility. And if we kick a ball, or like we stand, okay, so those activities comes under the stability part. Okay, so in this video we talked about the two things. One is introduction and the other one is function. In the next video, introduction and function, these 2 points are cleared in this video. The next video will be about the structures. Okay, and in those structures we will talk about the joint, which is hip joint, and we will talk about the femoral triangle, and we will also talk about the angle of inclination, angle of torsion, and the angle of acetabulum. So thank you so much. This video ends here. Thank you so much for watching this video.